Everyone, today I want to talk a little bit about having the difficult conversation with yourself. So one of my top 10 takeaways from 2024 was is how we have the difficult conversations, whether it's with ourselves or someone else. But I wanted to talk about how we have it with us, okay? Because we are the only ones that are in control and are responsible for our own lives. And we have to begin to look at that and how it begins to impact us. So for me, I've spoken before about how we can be so busy and engulfed in so many other things that we don't really see what's going on in front of us. And what I'm seeing so more now with patients is that we're looking so much for outside distraction to basically forget what's going on inside. So I see a lot of times, especially when it comes to work, many people really just bog themselves down with work because it's easier than being at home. Maybe it's easier to be at work than to have to talk to your husband about what's happening or to talk to your kids about how they're bothering you. People go to other distractions too, of course. We know about alcohol and substance abuse, but what about social media? I see this a lot as well. One of the questions I ask my patients is how many hours do you spend on your phone and how many hours do you spend in the TV? And it really surprises me sometimes the amount of hours that people are really spending on technology. And what is it doing? It's distracting us, right? And so we know a lot more today about, dopamine and the way that our brain works and that we go to these distractions because initially we're looking for some form of pleasure, but really it's just a little bit of escapism because we want to see what's happening on social media. We want to know what's going on in someone else's life, their travels, what they're doing. But what about what's going on in your life? So what if you take that shift and you start to begin to think, it's not the outside world, it's my inside world. But you know something? Most people don't want to go there because it's a part of ourself that many refer to as the shadow self. And this is our dark side. And guess what? We all have it. We can all go through emotions of feeling that we're judging others. We can be angry at times. We can be fearful at times. But what we try to do in this world is we try to put on a happy face and just continue going. But eventually that catches up to us. And it's really in those quiet moments when we're sitting in our bed at night or when we're just out and we're thinking, who am I? What is it that I really want? And I think when it comes to health, that until we have that conversation with ourselves, that we can really sweep a lot of things under the rug. So how does it look like for a patient or someone that I might see? So I had a patient recently that's having a lot of stress, and the main problem that she wanted is to lose weight. And so, of course, I'm going to go through all of the reasons, what's going on in her life that can be contributing because she knows the foods and everything that she needs to do. But then she also shared, like many of my patients, that she's having difficulty with her home life. She's having difficulty with her relationship. And so, we spent a long hour. We had such a heartfelt conversation. And I said, I can do what I am able to do. I can suggest supplements. I can suggest pills. We can give you drugs if we need to for weight loss. But until you look at your relationship and the stress that's going on, then you're going to still continue to have problems with your weight. And it was eye-opening, I think, for both of us. We were able to be so frank with each other and really in a kind and very supportive way. Because as women connecting, sometimes we do need to do this on a sister-to-sister level or on a doctor-to-patient level, which is what I do with people, with my patients. But really, because I want them to understand that there's so much in this external world that we're looking at. We can be looking at weight as a sign of my happiness. But deep inside, the happiness is only going to be felt when we feel happy with ourselves. So she knew she had to have a conversation with her husband, and also she was working excess hours, and she knew she had to really think about those hours that are influencing her health and what to do next. So this is it. So how do we cultivate this? How do we do it within ourselves? So the first step is to say, wow, what's really going on here? So we really have to turn the lens. We have to turn again from looking outside and turn the mirror on ourselves and say, hey, what is going on in my life? Because if I'm complaining about something externally, if I'm complaining about the world, there's a lot of things happening in the world. But if I'm complaining that, oh my goodness, the world, what's going on? What's going to happen next? Or maybe I'm complaining that, oh, I don't have enough money. Oh, I wish that things were a different way. Or I'm complaining about my neighbors or my kids. We can complain about a lot of different things, but we really have to take the time to think, what is going on inside us? Where is it in my body that this is coming from? Why am I looking so much outside myself for answers when the answers are within us? And it's very interesting. I had a patient the other day as well, and we spoke about this very intellectual man. And so many of us, we live in our head and we try to figure things out in our head. So, X, Y, and Z. So this should happen next. That should happen next. But what we really need to do is to go inside our heart. So I think that's the way that you begin. Is you begin every day to cultivate a little bit more of body awareness, and starting with the heart is such a great way to do it. It doesn't have to be difficult. So with my female the other day, we said, because she was overwhelmed, she didn't know where to begin. So I said, well, what's a practice that you do? And so every morning she sits down and she has her breakfast, and she usually turns the TV on. So we spoke about, what if you didn't turn the TV on, but you literally sat there, enjoyed your cup of coffee, looked out at the sky, just took 5 extra minutes to kind of savor your food and thought about something that you're grateful for. Because gratitude and appreciation can really begin to help us think about activating the heart, because this is where your power lies. Your power lies within your heart. So I'm so happy to be able to work with people and to support them on their journey as they start to combine, this outside world with the internal influences. So what is that conversation you might need to have with yourself today? Have you had it in a while? Do you need to go for a walk? Do you need to go on a holiday? Do you need to just maybe disconnect from social media for a day or maybe for a week to start to think about, wow, what was my life like before? What is it that I really want? And what are those blocks that are stopping me? Often we're the ones getting in our own way, right? So we have to begin to think about it, because if we never take a moment to simply be still, then we're just going to get caught up in the busyness of the world, and we'll be upset by the next earthquake, the next disaster, the next plane crash, the next friend that has passed away. But I want you to take the time now, because there's nothing like seizing the present moment. So as I get ready to wrap up, I want to show you where I'm standing right now. Okay. I'm standing on my ship. So this ship is my outdoor patio. I'm here, in Miramichi, Canada. This is the river, behind me. I can hear the water trickling through, but that white that you see is the ice that's all frozen in. But I'm standing on my ship, and I thought I'd come here today because I want you to think about, are you the captain of your ship? Who is steering it? Who is driving your ship today? Begin to think that, what is it that I can do to captain my own ship? So do you have to have that hard conversation with yourself? Do you need to think of those elements in your life, that shadow self that's really not, it's part of you, that you just have to bring it up to the surface and let it go? So what is it? How can you captain your ship? How will you begin to cultivate a little bit of heart energy? Because once you start to dig into the heart, the rest of things are going to open up. It may not always be easy. I've been on this journey for a long time, and I can tell you there's been a lot of tears that have been shed. But I know now that I am the one in charge, that I am captaining my ship. So I'm able to sit here today with you in this beautiful sunshine, only -8 degrees Celsius, but with a smile on my face, and know that each day I'm going to continue to work toward my higher self by checking in with my heart every morning, expressing love and gratitude throughout my day, and then just let the miracles unravel. It's possible. It really is possible. Have the conversation, and have a wonderful weekend, everyone.